Hello, I am Suzy Nightingale, and today I have the great pleasure of unboxing the Perfume Society's seasonal scents spring box, because thank goodness spring is here, it's arrived, the blossoms are appearing on the trees, the buds are about to burst, things are unfurling, we're changing up our wardrobes and we're changing up our scent wardrobes too. And for these lighter, brighter days, this is where the seasonal scents box comes into its own, because I think there's not any dramatic change so shocking as between winter and spring. We desperately want something fresh and bright and light to reflect the season and the world around us. And these fragrances will do that for you while still adding some warmth and comfort among the florals. So let's dive in. Now, the first one is Soaky London. You can read all about these brands and Soaky on perfumesociety.org. And such an interesting story behind this one. Her first fragrance is Empress. There's another one due out in the summer, which we will be telling you about, of course. But Empress was crowdfunded by Soaky's fans, and she's an amazing blogger. She's got a YouTube channel, incredibly successful. She has been obsessed by fragrance all of her life, as have we all, I'm sure. And this fragrance was born out of that love and that passion. So she worked with a perfumer to create her perfect fragrance, basically. And we think you're going to fall for it, because in here there is wild strawberries, rose and peony, and then you've got these delicious gourmand notes of toffee popcorn, and then there's resinous sticky patchouli swirled through the mix as well. It's really delicious. Such an interesting mix, because you've got that soft floral note, you've got the deliciousness of the gourmand notes, and then you've got that wild strawberry, which just gives us hope for warmer days ahead. Really think you're going to enjoy trying that one on your skin. Now, the next one is another new brand which have a fascinating story. Do go to their brand page as well on perfumesociety.org. It's A La Lune London, and the fragrance we're talking about today is Santal Extreme. Now, A La Lune are inspired by the Far East, by moon cycles and mysticism, and of course there's a new moon in spring, and that represents rebirth, new beginnings, new starts, the new you. And fragrances, you can have a new you every time you choose a new fragrance. You can set the character of who you want to be that day, this year, this month, whenever. Now, Santal Extreme is gorgeous one. It's got saffron and angelica in there, amber and frankincense, and then oud and benzoin. Really traditional notes that have been used throughout thousands of years of perfumery since the dawn of time. And of course they are obsessed by that history, but making them really contemporary and wearable now. And sometimes we need some warmth and comfort, actually, don't we, in the spring, because it is still a bit chilly. It can be grey sometimes, and this is like wearing a lightweight but really warm and comforting soft wool coat that you pull around you that happens to smell amazing. Now, for a flash of brightening colour, what about Dylan Versace Dylan Purple? It is amazing. It's got purple freesia in there, which of course has inspired the name and the colour of the fragrance itself. And the freesia is such a beautiful note. I think it's sort of powdery and comforting, but it gives that floralcy as well. It gives that hopefulness and brightness. It's got pomerose in here as well, but there's this delicious pear juice that sort of quenches all the other notes and sluices through the whole scent. So mouth-watering and gorgeous. And in the base, it's got isoe super. Now, this might be a note that you have heard of. It's become very famous over the last few years. In fact, it was invented in the 1970s. And you can read all about different ingredients and when we started using them in perfumery, and descriptions of them in the ingredients section of perfumesociety.org. But Ice Super is a single molecule and it's man-made, but it smells kind of a second skin, your skin, but better. It's addictive. Some people actually say they're physically addicted to it because they can't stop smelling it and they get so many compliments. And sometimes even if you can't smell it strongly, other people will smell it and you will notice when it's in a fragrance because you're bound to get more compliments, which is always nice as well at this time of year or any time, frankly. Now, talking of beautiful colours, look at the colour of the Stiletto, famous iconic Stiletto Flacon 4 Carolina Herrera Good Girl Blush. Now, these are so collectible, and this is a scent preview of this brand new launch for you. They often sell out. People collect every single one of those, with good reason. They're stunning, but the fragrances are amazing as well. And this one, the blush note, is peony, such a soft, feminine, beautiful note within a fragrance, and of course a stunning flower. They almost seem like fairy dresses, don't they, on a plant rather than a flower. But on skin, it is that really soft blush, just blushed skin, and it sort of blooms around you. The petals unfurl around you as you wear it all day. It's so gorgeous. It's got ylang ylang in there as well, and it's swirled with this bitter almond, vanilla and tonka bean. So there's some deliciousness in the dry down, and I think it feels like wearing a blush pink gauzy gown, and you've thrown on a white cashmere fluffy wrap over the top just to keep your shoulders warm. Always advisable. Beauty and scents in the same place. Talking of gorgeous addictive notes, can anything be more gorgeous and addictive than Florist Honey Oud? I know I'm not meant to have favourites of houses, but Honey Oud, I'm sorry, it really is my favourite florist fragrance I've ever smelled. It's just completely sublime. You know those really expensive jars of honey that are about £20 and it's sort of rainforest honey, and the honey is so complex and flavoursome, and it's usually really dark in the jar as well. Such a gorgeous amber colour. And the honey tastes of all the flowers that the bees have feasted on wherever it's been gathered from. And this fragrance is kind of like that as well, because you've got the honey notes, you've got the sort of labdanum, amber, resinous, sticky gorgeousness. But within there you have rose, and it sort of blooms throughout that warmth on your skin. Now there's oud in there as well, but if you don't like oud, don't run away from it. Please try it on your skin as well as on a blotter, because it is the softest, most delicious, snuggleable, if that's a word, oud I think I've ever smelled, and it's beautiful. So yeah, not biased or anything. Now the next one is another rose, but such a different kind of rose, and this is something we always say at the Perfume Society. There are so many roses. There literally is a rose for every single a rose fragrance for every single person, because you can't just say I don't like rose. It's used in so many fragrances. Sometimes it's used and it's not even listed in the notes, and it adds a certain je ne sais quoi to a fragrance. Now Boucheron, Rose Esparta, Boucheron are known for their exquisite, priceless gems, and the perfumer for this fragrance said, who's Sonia Constant, an amazingly talented nose, she said that for the rose she wanted to facet the notes like a jeweler facets a gem. And I really get that sense, and I think you will too when you wear it on your skin. It is faceted with light, so you get these chinks of light between all the layers of the notes in the fragrance, and so you've got fresh ginger. And I think that gives a sort of clarity. It cuts through all the other notes. It's like that chink of brightness when you turn a gem in your fingers towards the sun. There's incense and ambrette in there as well, really soft, that sort of wafts and swirls around you, these wisps of incense that follow you. And then that Turkish rose unfurling and blooming as it warms on your skin. There's saffron as well, so that sort of adds a sort of slight sizzle, along with the cinnamon and freesia again. And so there's your powdery floral, your comforting gorgeousness. And hawthorn, which I can't think of many many fragrances I've seen hawthorn in. So a sense of wildness, I think, amongst that sort of careful faceting. And then in the dry down, you've got musk, amber, tonka bean and sandalwood with the vanilla. Gorgeous, smooth, such a rounded, beautifully crafted fragrance, I think you'll agree. Now for something completely different and so fun, it's the Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male Pride. You can see with the rainbow flag there, they have lots of different additions that they slightly tweak the original to. And Pride has got blood orange in it, which is such a zesty wake-up call, isn't it? Which we definitely need when the mornings aren't as bright as we need them to be, and we're desperately seeking that sunshine. And you can find it with the blood orange in this fragrance. There's orange blossom as well, one of my all-time favourite notes in perfumery. It is so luminescent, filled with light and brightness, makes you feel like you're sort of floating, like someone's put their hands under your shoulders and just lifted you towards the orange blossoms and the sunshine when you smell it. So gorgeous. Now, if we really want to dive into the flowers, which we absolutely do in spring, the Yardley Flowerful collection is for you. Such a great one to take away if you're going away for a weekend, if you're traveling. Brilliant size, or to keep in your handbag as well. So within there, and they're celebrating, as you can see with the beautiful illustrations, all the traditional English flowers that we so adore and love filling our homes with at this time of year too. So there's bluebell and sweet pea, and that is like a tiptoe through the bluebell wood. So iconic, isn't it? It's such a British beautiful scene that gives us hope every time they come through. And there's lily of the valley in there as well, with rose and jasmine, peony, and of course the sweet pea, and such a bright green floral fragrance, I think. And some vanilla and musk. Then you've got freesia and bergamot, and of course those notes are in there. So freesia again, more powdery and soft, and then the bergamot, that bright zesty sunshine that we so desperately need. There's mandarin and lemon in there as well, so a really citrus lovers fragrance, this one. And cypress, lily of the valley and ginger again, and then there's pepper with sandalwood and musk and amber for the warmth and that sort of kick in the base. Now, blossom and peach. Oh, this is so gorgeous. Cherry blossom. And is there anything more beautiful than taking a walk in spring and just seeing that cherry blossom appearing on the trees? It really lifts your mood. I know I walk through the park every single day and I look for it and think, oh, there's more out every day. Wearing a fragrance like this really captures that mood. It bottles it and it brings it with you wherever you are, which I love doing with fragrance and I never tire of. Now, the poppy and violet in here, I think, is a favourite for me, actually. It's got that poppy note, which is an imagined accord because we can't actually extract poppy. It's got violet as well, so there's a sort of green powdery softness to it. But there's cashmere, musk and cedar in the base here. So again, it feels like a walk through a beautiful field with wild flowers rambling everywhere, and there's still a little bit of a coolness in the breeze, so you just pull your scarf around you and snuggle into it, and hopefully it's sprayed with that. Oh, now this next one, Vario. Please read about them as well on perfumesociety.org. Lynn Harris is the brilliant nose that was chosen for Vario's fragrances, and you will definitely smell why when you try this one on your skin. It's I Am Verdant, which suits their brand colour, and it is for clarity and joy. Each of their fragrances has a beneficial use rather than just smelling nice. The notes have been chosen to help you in some ways. So some of them revivify you, some of them relax you, and this one gives you clarity and joy. And if spring is a sense of anything, it is that clarity and joy, isn't it? It's looking ahead rather than behind. It's that new you, the new moon, new beginnings, and the clarity of thought and joyfulness at warmer days to come. And this fragrance, the cyclamen, frankincense and bergamot. You've got iris absolute and orange flower in there. Classic notes of perfumery, but done in such a contemporary, such a pared back and sophisticated way that I think well, you can't help but love, can you? Now, of course, we've also got in your box one of the most iconic, I think, French brands. If I see these in a traditional pharmacy, my heart just fills with joy. And it is their Fleur de Figure soap. Now, this, again, is my favourite, I think. Yeah, no, it is. It's my favourite Roger and Gallet fragrance. It was actually composed by a perfumer you may have heard of, Francis Kurkdjian. Did you know that? Before he had his own house. And this, when you open your box, I think you'll agree, it perfumes the whole box, even wrapped, even in its box. In your bathroom, it will just scent your bathroom, and to use them is a joy. They're creamy, floral. Fleur de Figure has got this greenness to it that just keeps going, this freshness. Again, that sort of piercing light that bursts through dark clouds. And then this gorgeous soft blossoming floral sea that wraps itself around you. What could be better than working your way through this box, even if it's a grey day? Spring is in the air, and it can be on our skin too. Until next time, we'll see you then.